So, last class we played this revised version of Monopoly, which is different and unfair and reflects more truthfully the world and the society. Um, and for instance, Diana was the upper class and she definitely had more control over everything. And she got to decide whether certain attitudes and behaviors are acceptable in this little society. For instance, Li Hong said something that was rebellious according to our rules, which were made by Diana, and he was put into jail, and I was forced to pay $500 to get him out. Um, and that kind of explains Foucault's theory that power can produce knowledge because in a society, the people who have more power have definitely more authority in making the rules regarding what discourses can be talked about and how they can be talked about. So that's kind of real and um, very interesting. And as to social mobility, um, I believe there were not so much opportunities for the poor people compared to the upper class. For instance, Li Hong and I, we got married and we decided to put a lot of money in the properties, and we wanted to make more money by doing this, like the investment. But actually, it turned out that the properties we could buy were not as profitable as the properties owned by the rich people. For instance, the rich could buy public facilities like railroads, but we could not. So that's why I think like the people who are rich are becoming richer in our society, and there is a kind of polarization going on. Is because they have more opportunities compared to us, and they have more room for gaining more power and assets. But there's like not totally desperate for those poor people because during our game we kind of formed an alliance. Like the poor people came together in resistance to the power exerted by Diana, and that was not only like combining assets but also kind of an emotional thing because we kind of felt more connected to each other and we felt more confident in the things we were doing. So I believe that's the reason why there are certain social groups in our society, like the unions, that operates to like gain more power and for a common goal of the members of this group. And also, I believe like the power is not something that's intrinsic, meaning that the power comes from the lower classes because we kind of grant Diana that power she had because the other group, Stephen was the upper class, but he definitely didn't have that much of power compared to Diana, and that made me believe that certain power relations were depending on the social settings and how the people were like how the people operated their like social norms and everything. So that was different from society to society, but every society had classes and are not uh, like there were a certain hierarchy in every society. And as to the like real world institutions reflected by our game, I believe Diana was representing the government, and also the government is in control of the bank, and there are like big companies that are having all these properties and gaining more money than the others. And in our game, there was just one upper class, but in real world, all the rich people and the powerful people are kind of coming together to form this alliance, and they kind of have monopoly over a lot of things, and you kind of put constraints on the things the other classes can do. So this game is a really cruel reflection of what's going on in the society right now, and it's kind of uh, I don't know. It makes me feel really bad.